Cold wind screamed through the mountain pass like the breath of something ancient and unforgiving. Snow clung to the peaks above, white as bone, while below in the valley, smoke rose thin and gray from the chimney of a weather-beaten log cabin. This was country that didn't forgive mistakes. This was land that took more than it gave. Cole Brennan rode into that valley with death on his heels and blood on his conscience. His horse moved slow through the pines, hooves crunching on frozen ground. The animal was tired. Cole was tired. Both had been running for 3 days straight ever since the shooting in Deadwood. His hand still ached where the bullet had grazed his knuckles, still felt the weight of the Colt .45 that hung at his hip like a millstone. He'd killed a man, not the first, probably wouldn't be the last. But this one was different. This one had a brother. This one had friends. This one had put a price on Cole's head that would bring every bounty hunter and gun-crazy fool from here to the Dakota Territory. Through the trees ahead, the cabin came into view, larger than he'd expected. Built solid against the mountain weather, with a stone foundation and a covered porch that wrapped around the front. Smoke meant people. People meant complications. But his horse was lame, his supplies were gone, and the temperature was dropping fast. He had no choice. Cole dismounted 50 yards out, leading his horse by the reins. His other hand stayed near his gun. Always near his gun. That was the life he'd chosen. The life that had chosen him back when he was too young and too angry to know better. Before he reached the porch, the door swung open. A man stepped out. Late 50s, broad shoulders, gray beard, and eyes that had seen trouble before and weren't particularly impressed by it. He held a Winchester rifle, not aimed but ready. "That's far enough, stranger." Cole stopped, raised his free hand. "Mean no harm. Horse through a shoe. Need shelter for the night. We don't take in drifters. I can pay. Don't need your money." Behind the man, movement. A woman appeared in the doorway, young, maybe 22, 23, dark hair pulled back, green eyes that caught what little light filtered through the gray afternoon. She wore a simple dress, wool against the cold, but there was something in the way she stood, straight-backed, unafraid. "Papa," she said softly, "storm's coming. You'd turn away a man and his horse in this weather?" The old man's jaw tightened. "Sarah, get back inside. He's hurt." She was looking at Cole's hand, at the blood-stained bandage visible beneath his coat sleeve. "And he's running from something." Cole met her eyes. Most folks looked away when they saw what he was. This one didn't. "Let him stay in the barn," Sarah said. "We're not killers here, Papa. We're not like them." Them. Cole didn't know who them was, but he heard the weight in her voice, heard the history. The old man lowered his rifle an inch. Not much, but enough. "Barn. You stay away from the house. You so much as look wrong, I'll put you in the ground. We clear?" "Clear." "Name's Jacob McKenna. This is my ranch. That's my daughter. Touch her. I'll kill you slow." Cole nodded. "Name's Cole. Cole Brennan. And I've got no interest in trouble, Mr. McKenna. Just need one night." "I'll be gone by sunrise." Sarah's eyes lingered on him a moment longer before she disappeared back inside. Jacob jerked his head toward the barn and turned to follow his daughter, rifle still in hand. Cole led his horse across the yard. The barn was sturdy, well kept. Hay in the loft, 3 other horses in stalls, tools hanging neat on the walls. Whoever these people were, they took pride in their work. He unsaddled his horse, tended the animal's leg, found blankets in a trunk. As darkness fell, the temperature plummeted. Wind rattled the barn walls, whistling through gaps in the wood. Cole made a small fire in an old metal barrel, just enough to keep the chill off, and sat with his back against a post. His hand went to his gun, always his gun. He thought about the man he'd killed in Deadwood. Thought about the look in the man's eyes when he realized he wasn't fast enough. thought about all the others before him, all the faces that haunted his sleep. This wasn't the life he'd wanted. This was the life he'd earned. Outside, snow began to fall, silent, heavy, covering everything in white. Morning came cold and clear. Greenland light filtered through the barn windows, painting everything in shades of silver and pale blue. Cole woke to the sound of the barn door creaking open. Sarah stood in the doorway, a tin plate in her hands. Steam rose from whatever food was on it. She hesitated, then stepped inside. "Brought you breakfast," she said. "Papa doesn't know." Cole stood slowly. "Appreciate it, ma'am." "Sarah, just Sarah." She handed him the plate. Eggs, bacon, biscuits. Real food. His stomach twisted with hunger. "Thank you, Sarah." She watched him eat. Most folks would have left. She stayed. "The men you're running from," she said finally. "Are they close?" Cole stopped chewing. "How'd you know?" "I grew up on this ranch. I know what running looks like." She crossed her arms, not defensive, just matter of fact. "Papa was a lawman once, down in Colorado, before we came up here. Before—" She trailed off. Cole didn't push. "They're a day behind," he said quietly. "Maybe less. I'll be gone before they arrive." "And if they don't stop looking? If they come here anyway?" Cole set the plate down. "They're looking for me, not you. I'll lead them away." "You killed someone." It wasn't a question. Cole nodded. "He draw first? Does it matter?" "It does to me." Cole studied her. There was something in her face. Something that reminded him of himself before the world had beaten it out of him. Hope, maybe. Or belief that things could still be right. "He drew first," Cole said. "But I was faster. I'm always faster. That's the problem." Sarah moved closer. "My mother was killed by men like you. Gunslingers, bounty hunters. They came looking for someone Papa had arrested years before. When they didn't find who they wanted, they—" She stopped, swallowed hard. "Papa brought us up here to escape that world, to live away from the violence." "I'm sorry." Sorry doesn't bring her back. No, it doesn't. They stood in silence. Outside, a hawk screamed, high and sharp. "Why do you do it?" Sarah asked. "Why live by the gun?" Cole picked up his Colt from where it lay beside his bedroll. The metal was cold, familiar. "Because I'm good at it." Because when you're good at something, even if it's killing, people push you toward it. They tell you that's what you're for. That's all you're for. And you believe them? Believed. Past tense. He turned the gun over in his hands. "Truth is, I've been trying to figure out how to stop, how to put this down and walk away. But every time I try, something pulls me back. Someone needs killing, or someone needs killing done, and there I am." "You're not trapped, Cole. You're just scared." The words hit him like a fist. He opened his mouth to argue, but nothing came out. Before either could speak again, the sound of horses reached them, multiple horses, moving fast. Sarah's face went pale. "Papa?" Cole was already moving, grabbing his coat, checking his gun. "Get to the house, now. They're here for you. Doesn't matter. Get to your father." They ran across the yard together. Jacob was already on the porch, rifle in hand, face hard as granite. "Sarah, inside." "Papa, inside." 5 riders emerged from the tree line. Rough men, hard men, the kind who wore their violence like a second skin. The leader was tall, with a scar running from his eye to his jaw and a star pinned to his chest. A marshal's badge. But Cole knew better. Knew that sometimes the law and the lawless wore the same face. "That's far enough," Jacob called out. The riders stopped. The scarred man smiled. It was a terrible smile. "We're tracking a fugitive. Man named Cole Brennan. Killed my brother in Deadwood. We have reason to believe he's here. You have a warrant?" "Don't need one." This is justice, old man. Step aside. This is my land. You want to cross it, you show me paper. Otherwise, you turn around and ride back the way you came. The scarred man's smile faded. You protecting a killer? I'm protecting my property and my family. Cole stepped forward, hands away from his gun. I'm here, Marshal. Let's take this somewhere else. No need for these folks to be involved. Cole, no. Sarah's voice from the doorway. The scarred man's eyes shifted to her. Something dark moved across his face. Pretty daughter you got there, old man. Be a shame if something happened to her on account of you making bad choices. Jacob raised his rifle. You threaten my daughter, badge or not, I'll kill you where you stand. 4 other rifles came up in response. Mexican standoff. Nobody moving. Cole could feel it all about to go wrong. Could feel the violence building like pressure before a storm. And then he did something he'd never done before in his entire life. He unbuckled his gun belt. The weight fell away. The Colt .45 that had been part of him for 15 years dropped into the snow. There, Cole said, raising his hands higher. I'm unarmed. You want me? I'll come peaceful. Just leave these people alone. The scarred man stared. So did Jacob. So did Sarah. Cole, what are you doing? Sarah whispered. Making a different choice, he said. For a long moment, nobody moved. Gunmetal light poured down from the overcast sky, turning everything the color of old coins and ash. Wind stirred the snow at their feet, swirling it into small devils that danced and died. Then the scarred man laughed. You think I care if you're armed or not, Brennan? You think this is about justice? He spat in the snow. My brother drew on you fair. I know that. Everyone knows that. But he was family. And family gets blood, one way or another. He raised his pistol. Sarah screamed. Jacob fired. The shot caught the scarred man in the shoulder, spinning him sideways. His men opened up, bullets tearing into the porch, splintering wood. Jacob dove back, pulling Sarah with him. Cole threw himself toward his gun in the snow, but before his hand could close around it, a boot came down on his wrist. One of the riders stood over him. Young, maybe 19. Gun aimed at Cole's head. Don't, the kid said. His hand was shaking. From the house, more gunfire. Jacob was giving as good as he got, but 5 against 1 were bad odds. Sarah was there too, Cole realized. He could see her shadow moving behind a window, loading her father's spare rifle. The kid's finger tightened on the trigger. You don't want to do this, Cole said quietly. Shut up. I can see it in your eyes. You're not like them. You're not a killer. I said shut up. Pull that trigger, son, and you'll never be the same. I know. I've been where you are. I've crossed that line. There's no going back. The kid's face twisted, tears and rage mixing together. He said we'd get rich. He said it would be easy. It's never easy, and money won't fix what killing does to you. A bullet whipped past them. The kid flinched, and in that moment, Cole moved. Not for the gun, for the kid. He grabbed the boy's wrist, twisted, brought him down into the snow. The pistol went off, but the shot went wide. Cole wrenched the weapon free, threw it aside, and pinned the kid down. Stay down, he said. Stay alive. Then he was running, not away, toward the house. Bullets chased him across the yard. One tugged at his coat. Another kicked up snow at his heels. He hit the porch steps, crashed through the door, and found himself in a small front room. Jacob was at one window, Sarah at another, both firing. You damn fool, Jacob shouted. You gave up your gun. Had to. Cole grabbed the spare Winchester leaning against the wall, checked the load. 5 shots. Why? Because if I'd drawn on them, we'd all be dead. Cole moved to a third window. This way, we got a chance. Some chance, Jacob muttered, but there was something in his voice. Maybe respect. Sarah looked back at him, blood on her cheek where flying splinters had cut her. "You came back. Wasn't gonna let you fight alone. You don't even know us. I know enough." Outside, the scarred man was shouting orders. 3 of his men were down, 1 dead, 2 wounded. The odds had shifted, but he was still standing, still fighting, driven by something more than money or duty, driven by rage. "Brennan," the scarred man called out. "You and me, end this!" Cole looked at Jacob. The old man nodded. "I'll cover you," Jacob said. "Papa, no." "He's right, Sarah. This is between them." Cole moved to the door. His hands were steady. For the first time in years, maybe for the first time ever, he felt clear. He'd made a choice. Not with his gun, with his heart. He stepped out onto the porch. The scarred man stood in the middle of the yard. Blood soaked his shoulder, but his gun hand was steady. "You should have stayed down, Brennan." "I'm done staying down." "You gave up your gun." "Means you're weak." "Means I'm trying to be better." "Better?" The scarred man spat blood. "There ain't no better for men like us. There's only dead or alive. Then I choose alive. But not like this. Not anymore." The scarred man raised his pistol. The shot came from the house. From Sarah. She'd moved to a different window, had the angle, took it. The bullet caught the scarred man's center mass. He stood for a moment, surprise on his face, then fell forward into the snow. Red spreading out beneath him. Silence rushing in to fill the space where violence had been. Cole turned. Sarah stood in the doorway, rifle still raised, shaking. Not from fear, from what she'd done. "Sarah." "I killed him," she whispered. "You saved us." "I killed him." Cole walked back to her slowly, took the rifle gently from her hands. "You did what you had to do. To protect your father, to protect me. That's not murder, Sarah. That's survival." She looked up at him, tears on her face. "Is this what it's like? Is this what you feel?" "Every time. But it gets easier to carry when you're doing it for the right reasons, when you're protecting people instead of just protecting yourself." Jacob emerged from the house, looked at his daughter, looked at the bodies in the snow, looked at Cole. "What now?" the old man asked. Cole walked over to where his gun belt lay in the snow, picked it up, held it for a long moment. Then he carried it to his horse, still in the barn, wrapped it in oilcloth, tied it to his saddlebags. When he came back out, Sarah was watching him. "You're keeping it," she said. "I am, but I'm not wearing it. Not unless I have to, not unless there's no other way." He met her eyes. "You taught me something today, Sarah. You and your father. You taught me that strength isn't about how fast you can draw. It's about knowing when not to. Where will you go?" "North. Canada, maybe. Somewhere these ghosts can't follow." He paused. "Unless—" Jacob crossed his arms. "Unless what?" "Unless you could use a hand around here. Someone who knows horses. Someone who can work." "You a good worker, Brennan?" "I can learn." "Can you put down roots? Stay in one place?" Cole looked at the mountains, at the cabin, at Sarah standing there with the wind in her hair. "I'd like to try." Jacob was quiet for a long time. Then he extended his hand. "Pays not much. Works hard. And you step out of line even once. I know. You'll kill me slow." "Damn right." They shook. Sarah smiled. First time Cole had seen it. It was like sunrise after a long night. 3 months later, spring came to the mountains. Snow melted into rushing streams. Wildflowers pushed up through the soil. Birds returned from wherever they'd gone, filling the air with song. Cole stood on the newly repaired porch, watching the sunrise paint the peaks gold and crimson. His hands were calloused from honest work. His back ached from mending fences. He hadn't touched his gun since that day in the snow. The door opened behind him. Sarah stepped out, 2 cups of coffee in her hands. She gave him one. Papa wants to ride out to the north pasture today. Check the herd. I'll saddle up. Cole? Yeah? I'm glad you stayed. He looked at her, really looked at her, saw the strength there, saw the kindness, saw the future that might be possible if he could just keep walking this new path. So am I, Sarah. So am I. They stood together in the morning light, coffee steaming, while somewhere far below, the world continued its violence and chaos. But here, in this remote corner of the wilderness, two people had found something different. Peace, redemption, home. Thanks for staying to the end. Where are you watching from?